Hi, this is 365801 and this is a Buzzword 2023 Reading Challenge TBR and recommendations video. So hello and welcome back to another Buzzword TBR full of BL manga recommendations for this particular month, and this month for Kayla's Buzzword Reading Challenge for 2023. This is September, and of course we have got September's buzzword, which are game-related words. Now, Kayla does a really great job of explaining this thematic month, and with a thematic month there are more options available, and she goes through some of the options that she's thought of. So game, player, war, tile, cards, first, last, lose, win, things like that. That will probably be expanded upon even more. This is such a big one because it's thematic and because it's so broad that anything to do with games, because in that respect you could also have types of sports as well. So yeah, go over and check out her video so you can find out more, and you can also pick up while you're there some of the visuals that you can use on your social media so that you can show that you're also taking part in this challenge. So of course the first thing I did was look at Kayla's suggestions and look up what I have, and also in my drawers, because that's the easiest way. The obvious choice for me when it comes to game is Therapy Game and Therapy Game Restart. Obviously this is the Meguru Hinohara. At the moment the Therapy Games are 4 volumes with the extra Secret XXX. There's another one, and we're looking forward to more from Sublime. Another one that's new to my collection that I have not read yet, that is Sayonara Game by Minaduki Yu. This is the very first one in her series, followed by Change World and Love Nest and more. So I'm looking forward to reading all of these. This one I think has some second chance romance and associated with baseball, hence the Sayonara Game. After game, I looked at play or player, and the next one I came up with was Replay by Saki Tsukahara. This is a Tokyopop title, also I think somewhat related to baseball. I'm not entirely sure, I can't quite remember. I might need to do a reread of this one. The artwork is beautiful on the front, and I do remember enjoying it, but I can't actually remember anything about it, and I have 2 copies of this. The other title I have with play is Playboy Blues, and this is a Shioko Kano Be Beautiful title. This is just volume 1 of a series that really is, I think, still ongoing and very much related to her Punch Up series. So yeah, Shioko Kano, I have read this, but a long time ago. Now, other words that Kayla suggested was win or lose, and I came across Lost Boys by Kaname Itsuki. This is a June manga title, and one that I have read. I read it a couple of years ago, and I do not recommend. It's a little bit on the Shota side. It's a sort of Peter Pan-esque thing, so yeah, this is not one that I would particularly recommend to anyone. But it's really interesting because Kaname Itsuki is also the author of another title. This one is After I Win. So she has a win and a lost. I hope this one is going to be a win. I have not read this one, so this is going on my TBR for sure. After I Win. It's very much a game-related word. Now, win came up again with one other title, and that was Can't Win With You. And this is a 3-volume series by Yukine Honami and Satosumi Takaguchi. I have heard that it's not great, but I have not read it. These all still have the plastic on, all 3 volumes I've had for a long time, and I've never got around to reading it. So this could definitely go on my TBR for this challenge, as it's very much a game word. Now, Kayla also thought that first or last might be appropriate, so I have The World's Greatest First Love by Shungiku Nakamura. Obviously, I think it's a volume 16 just come out, so that's another one I need to add to my collection, but I'm up to date on this. But another more difficult one to get hold of choice might be Close the Last Door. You could always get volume 1, volume 2 is a little bit more tricky, and this is obviously a Yamada Yuki title that I absolutely love. And one I haven't actually read yet. This is a drama queen title. Akira Honma's The Last Portrait. So yeah, this is definitely on my TBR. I want to get to it as soon as I can. I do enjoy Akira Honma's work too. Now, Kayla also mentioned that we could go for card games or card game related words, and I've got another Yamada Yugi title, and that is Open the Door to Your Heart. So we're going to be looking at the suits of cards, and heart is one that I've done a lot of in the previous video, so go check out lots of body parts in that video. This particular title is absolutely fantastic and of course is related to Close the Last Door. Now, technically the suits are hearts, so I did think it was appropriate to put one in, and that is Kano Miyamoto's Two of Hearts. This is a due title. This is one I do not like, which is why I added a different heart one in as an example. Like, here's one I love, here's one I do not love. But if we're going to go for clubs, it is not the S plural, but it is club, Yarachin Bitch Club. This at the moment has 4 volumes. This is Ogaretsu Tanaka's series, which is very sexually explicit, about boys in a dormitory school. And we're hoping to get volume 5 pretty soon. Now, unfortunately, there were no spades in my collection, but there were diamonds, and that is Silver Diamond. This particular volume is volume 1, Silver Seed. This is Shiho Sugiura's series by Tokyo Pop. Unfortunately, only 9 volumes were printed, but I have not got them all yet. Now, along with the suits in card games, you could also have kings, queens, and jacks. And with kings, there are a lot of titles in BL. One of the first one is My Only King by Lily Hoshino. This is an old DMP title, along with another old DMP title, also by Lily Hoshino, and that is Alone in My King's Harem. Lily Hoshino has a particular art style and a particular way of telling stories. So yeah, definitely very Lily Hoshino, these two. We also have Golden Prince and Argent King by Koko Agawa. So yeah, plenty of king titles. Another king title is King of Debt by Sanae Rokuya. This is an 801 title, one I read a couple of years ago for Christmas, 25 days of manga, and I did not like it. It was very bad. Now, I couldn't come up with any queen titles in my collection. I don't know if there is any, but I did come up with a jack. No knaves, just a jack. And this is Jackass by Scarlet Berico. This is obviously the Sublime title. And my absolute favourite Scarlet Berico, because the other Scarlet Bericos make me uncomfortable. And this one just makes me feel great. I love it. I also find it kind of problematic in some respects, but I kind of like that about it. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully Sublime giving us the next one. Now, a couple of other words which might be a bit of a stretch, but I think might be relevant to cards in general and card games, and that is cut by Toko Kawaii. If you are going to be cutting the deck or cutting cards, then you've got to use the word cut. And so this is one I have read. I read it as part of a buddy read with Katie, and I did enjoy it. It wasn't as good as everyone said, but I think there was maybe a bit of nostalgia for some people. I just found that it was okay, a little bit melodramatic. Now on to another one, which is maybe a bit of a stretch. If you're playing a hand of card, once again, it's a body part. So Electric Hands by Tai Shizao. I don't think I've read this one. I still need to. This is one that's definitely going to have to go on my TBR because I have no idea what it's about. Now moving on from cards and thinking about other kinds of games you might play, and I did think about chess. So a Black Knight is something you might come across in chess by Kai Tsurugi. This is, I think, a 4-volume series by Blue. That's Tokyo Pop's BL imprint, and I have not read this series. So Black Knight is definitely one that I need to read. Now, sticking with the chess or checkers or any kind of game like that, board game, you might have black or white, depending on which side of the board you're playing. And this is Black or White by Sachimo. This is a Sublime title. I'm hoping to collect more of, and I'm hoping to read more of Sachimo's work. So yeah, black or white, I thought this was really appropriate. Now, moving on to another kind of stretch that might be a bit of a stretch is like dice games I was thinking about. Now, I didn't come up with the word dice, but I did come up with cast. Actually, I came up with double cast. So if you're going to cast the dice, you're throwing the dice, that kind of thing. I thought maybe at a stretch. Anyway, this is by Eli Mamahara, or Mamahara Eli, I would say, and Mizuhashi Takana, and this is one I absolutely love. It's about acting, it's about understudies, it's about jealousy and envy, and oh, it's so good. It's one of my absolute favourites. Now we're going to go through some fairly quick fire random ones, which I think are kind of game related. The first one is Restart by Shoko Hidaka. I don't think I've read this, so this definitely has to go on a reading vlog for me, I think, Shoko Hidaka's. And restarting the game. If you need to start the game again, then you restart. So maybe that counts? Maybe? Now this word I think is pretty cool. This is a bit of a stretch, but Kayla did mention war. So total surrender might be something that you do in a game. This is a Hiroko Ishimaru title. I have not read this. Like many Junei manga titles I have in my collection, I have not read it. So I don't know if it's any good. It's probably not. Moving on to one that I do know is good. And is also very appropriate for any kind of game, and that's Dick Fight Island. If you're having a fight, a competition, then this might be appropriate. This is a Ike Rebun title. I have read volume 1. I'm looking forward to reading volume 2, and this one I think is quite an appropriate one. It's also very spicy. Now this one is certainly related to maybe some of the games like chess and things like that. If you are going to capture someone's pawn, for example, you would need to use the word capture. So how to capture a martini, and this is a Makoto Tatsuno title, part of a series, a 2-volume series, which I think I've read, but I can't remember, and I do need to do a reread of. Now this one I don't think is a stretch, because when you're playing a game, it's all about tactics. And I was just like, perfect. Is this like an 8 or is it 9 volumes? I can't remember. This is Sakura Kinoshita and Kazuko Higashiyama. They work together and they have produced this work, and I have not read it. I've not even watched the anime either, because there is an anime that goes along with it. So yeah, this is kind of like one of those BL that's not BL. They're BL-ish. BL-ish titles. So yeah, I can't tell you anything about it. I don't know. Now this one is actually perfect. If there's any one in my collection that is 100% part of this prompt, it's Hide and Seek. This is a game, right? It's Hide and Seek by Yaya Sakuragi. 3 volumes, absolutely gorgeous. Adults getting together, adults with bisexual awakening. Very happy. I love this one. This is a great, great choice. And another one that I thought, definitely this is part of the game. It's a game. It might be a sport, but it's also a game. Baseball Heaven. And this is another Mamahara Eli one. This is a really great one. It's about, I think it's like a catcher, not catcher, pitcher kind of thing. So it's a good one. It's a good one. It's very adult as well. And I like that. And the last one I'm going to show you is one I've just kind of thrown in as a sort of wild card. And that is Casino Lily by Yoka Nita. This is one that I read, another one that I read as a buddy read with Katie. And this one is obviously a casino where you can play some games and win some money. So yeah, I put Casino Lily in there as well. This one was an absolute delight and a surprise at how good it was. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So this is everything that I've got to show you, but it's not everything in my collection. It's not everything that is game related, because there are others. I think I even have it that I didn't pull out. One is Love Quest. If you're going to be on a quest, then you can, you know, playing a game. Maybe it's Dungeons and Dragons. That you could definitely go Dungeons and Dragons route, couldn't you? Do I have any with Dungeons and Dragons in the title? Probably not. Another one is Ichigemme First Class. There's a lot of firsts actually, like Ali of First Love, First Stage of Love. So yeah, there's definitely other ones in there that I haven't mentioned that you could read as BLs, but they're in my other collection, so I didn't bother bringing it because this is, if I did it, this video would be way too long. So yeah, there's just the ones that I wanted to show you. So I have them organized on the table here in read and unread piles. So the pile on the left is the unread pile, and then the other two piles are read piles. So I have actually read a substantial amount. Not necessarily this year. I don't think I've read anything this year that would necessarily count. So I do think I need to do some reading this year. And on the unread pile, there are literally anything in that pile I would be quite happy to read, or at least give a go to. Restart, I definitely want to. And after I win, that would be a really easy one to get done. These are like one shots, and so a one and done is quite good. But Sayonara Game is one that I'm definitely going to be reading, and Black or White is definitely one I'm going to be reading. But yeah, anything in that unread pile, and I did put Capture a Martini there, even though I have technically think I've technically read it, but I'm kind of putting it in the I cannot remember anything about you, therefore you are now unread. So yeah, in terms of those ones, there are quite a few, and I will literally be happy to read any of those this year. And I am planning on reading some, so I will probably get this prompt done without too much effort. But in terms of the read ones, the ones that I thoroughly recommend that I think are just great, because there's definitely a mixture of ones I liked and disliked. Therapy Game is like top. It's 100%, my please read this. It's got game in the title, but it's also wonderful and sexy, and funny and so well drawn, and just everything I love. But Jackass is also really good. That's another one that I really like. But I would say go with Hide and Seek. Hide and Seek is also a game, and it's in the title as well. So that's another one that I think is worth reading. If you have not read the Yaya Sakuragi's Hide and Seek yet, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing? Get on that. I do think you could read Bonds of Dream, Bonds of Love before, but you don't necessarily need to. And I do think that Yaya Sakuragi does that very well. Yaya Sakuragi sometimes has some problematic elements in some of her work. They're not always perfect. But I do think out of all of them, Hide and Seek is my favourite because it is two adults. They both lived their lives. They're very mature, and one of them is open to a relationship with someone who thought they were straight, and one of them is open to exploring that side of their sexuality, which they've never explored before, and they're quite happy to do that and see if they develop feelings, and it's just great. And there's a kid, and I'm a sucker for a kid. Stick a kid in there, I'm like, yay, found family, great. So yeah, Hide and Seek is also one that I would recommend if you haven't read it already. But yeah, Double Cast is also one of my faves. Shungiku Nakamura, Yamada Yugi, like these are all the greats. These are, if I have to, and I haven't actually ever done this, Maida, here's all my top ones. You probably already know what they are because I always go on about them. And Baseball Heaven is really great as well. But in terms of some of the other ones, I would steer clear of. This is a maybe more important. Don't read Playboy Blues. Don't read Two of Hearts. I certainly wouldn't bother with the Golden Prince, Argent King one. Not a chance. Lost Boys with a barge pole. Stay away from that one. 100% stay away from that one. I found it very uncomfortable, and when I say that it was very Shota-esque, then that's what I'm meaning. I'm 100% like, oof, this is borderline. And King of Debt, I really didn't enjoy, but I kind of feel like I should give it another go, or at least rewatch my review, because I can't quite remember, but I do remember not being impressed by it. So yeah, take those recommendations and warnings however you like. But I do hope that you've been able to find something in here that you find interesting, or that you might want to pick up and read for September. Game words. I'd love to know if there's any others that I've forgotten, or maybe some new ones that might fit, and I should probably pick them up a bit sooner. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this was helpful, and thanks for watching to the end of this video as usual. Take care everyone, and I'll see you in next month's video. Bye!